And Michael,
Hello. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
Good. Yellow was very low sound.
Yes,
Oh,
it
now
should
he's
be
okay.
better.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
better.
All right.
Not too early for you, Michael?
No.
No?
I was up early. We had a snowstorm last night, so
Oh.
I have to get out and plow the driveway.
Mm.
If you have to go out. If you don't have to go out, it's probably fine. Huh?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the snowstorms in New York. It was quite a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's mostly snow, then rain, then sleet, then rain.
Oh.
Down here, upstate, where my niece said she got about 11 inches of snow.
Mm.
So
That's nice.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not like I get any, so
Yeah.
I like snow.
Do we?
Yes.
What do we got here?
Oh,
Puppy.
that's a cutie.
This is
He's
Poppy.
Poppy.
Poppy. That's her name,
Poppy.
Poppy.
Oh, Poppy's the
P-O-P-P-Y.
name. It's not
Yeah.
a puppy.
A
but-
puppy.
And she is a
Okay.
puppy still. She
She's
is
a
still.
Oh, she's cute. Yeah, we had our cat session before, where everybody was showing their pets and other things.
Oh,
In fact-
that's nice.
Mhm.
In fact, I was just editing it, and because I want to show it on the 15th. If you all don't mind, I mean, I like to show fragments from the meetings. On the Shininkai, it's a like a New Year's event every year for Safecast. And they have music and food and show new projects we're working on or progress on things like this kind of
Sounds
thing.
good.
Yeah, it's nice. So I will present the bGeigieZen progress, and I will present the bGeigieCast. And if Yellow want to join remotely, that's also possible.
Oh, really?
If you're
Maybe.
interested, if you're not interested, it's fine too. I mean, it's going to be short because Peter and me
Yeah.
will quickly show it, kind of, and things like that.
That's good enough. You can you can take the lead in that.
Yeah, and we will surely mention you and the history of what we've been working on, and show a little bit the interface and this kind of things. That's what we're gonna tell.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah.
So like a PowerPoint or something that you're preparing then?
No, I might make
just,
a video, very short video from the meeting, some
okay.
clips out it, and some funny things, and some like with different time zoners, and I will show you before. Maybe a rough edit is done, and then a few more days, and get the final edit done. So it's going to be
cool.
short, about a minute or 2 minutes maximum. So.
Are there some specific things that you want to show as well that we can still prepare in this week, like some features or some
if we have
mock-up
something coming up,
screens or
if we have something coming up, I can always put it in. If you think something, oh, that should be in there, I can just always drop it in.
Well, I kind of want to try to work on the log viewer and be able to upload logs from the device itself.
Oh, that's great.
Like last week, I have it in fixed mode all the time. And then I just take it out, go outside, get on my bicycle, then start driving. And then once I get back, I just go back to the fixed mode and just put it back on my desk. But then I have to take out the SD card too.
Yeah, but now that's true. I mean, when it's in fixed mode, let's say you call the ROP mode, and it's always recording. So even if you
you can do that as well. But I prefer to use the SD card with the logs because I don't know, just feels better.
Maybe I've done it too many times and uploaded.
Yeah,
if the data goes in, that's important. It doesn't matter if it goes through my CD and I have 3 or 4 devices at the same time and then uploading one by one and then approving.
No, exactly. I get it. So that's why the log upload or log view at least would be nice to have.
That's a good
Well, I went into fixed mode and I took out the SD card because the fixed mode doesn't need the SD card, which also shows like the SD will be grayed out instead of red. like SD card required. But yeah, it's I don't know if the API is ready for it because we
Seems
need
to be. I mean,
some-
I've been uploading normally for my bGeigieCast cast all the time, so it's always going.
No, I mean for the
For the log.
log file. Yeah.
We should check with Robin about this. Robin has done some more research about what you can send to the API, so we should ask him maybe.
Well, we already have the bGeigie import page on the
That's true.
api.safecast.org. So I guess a similar endpoint, although this one would then use the API key instead of like some authorization
Yes. Mhm.
token that we have in the browser. I don't know, maybe it works. I can also try to post to that endpoint using the API key.
Yeah, that's also a good idea. Yeah.
I can see what happens. Maybe it says no authorization or something.
So let's see. If you could work on that, that would be great. Then I can show that. That will be a big plus for the Zen compared to the Nano.
Yeah, I think that would be like a big selling point, like being able to upload the logs on the device itself to the API.
I mean, this is I think so too. Even when I was also impressed about the interface. It's easy to see if something goes wrong with the big warning, like the SD card or the GPS not locking. I really compared to a Nano, it's a big improvement.
Yeah, I've just been following along on Slack, and it's really looking impressive.
That's nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of coming together now. Like the structure is there, and then we just add screens and buttons, features. I don't know.
Yeah, Louis had responded that he was going to be here. Hoping he shows up soon.
Yeah, maybe something happens to too much snow, or
Yeah.
it probably has a lot of snow too there.
Yeah.
So let's see. Snowed in is not so bad for us because then he cannot move out.
Right.
Okay. What's
yeah, we can make
the
a
plan
start.
for the day? What do you want to talk or?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year, you all.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because we only said it with text, but
yes, everybody, Happy New Year.
best wishes for 2024.
Yeah.
Yes, and you too.
Thank you.
You too.
So we have Stefan, who was working on a new design.
Yes,
he's
been some things I like, some things I'm not sure about what we should do, but I think it can be for the next level, for the next generation. I mean, it's always good to have another input on it. I like the icons.
Yeah.
For example, I like that. But
I like the idea of having a whole new like design, basically. Like it looks very different, which is like, well, it's like as if you can also make like a next version, which is basically the same.
Yeah, maybe version
like because the current one is like just put together like a simple button, simple screen, fonts, and it works well. And then this looks like a more finished product, like a release version maybe. Where this one is maybe like the beta version or alpha. I don't know. Maybe the previous one was the alpha, and this is like beta. I don't know. Yeah, it looks good, and it's good progress. We can work on with that.
But it feels for me more like a phone design idea. So
yeah, exactly. I kind of like the double status bar, basically. So like the date and time with the ID on the bottom, and then on top of that you have all the status icons, which is a bit better because you have a bit more room to play with.
That's true.
Because currently on the Zen, it's well, if you have
crowded.
a bit bigger. Yeah, if the name of the screen is a bit longer, and then you have like 100% battery, and then 10 satellites, and then like each of those take additional spaces. So it is.
And but then when I was testing and walking with the in the fixed mode, I know that sometimes the GPS locks very great and it keeps locked, but sometimes it just goes kunk and it's all over, or it doesn't want to lock for a long time. I have no idea. Compared to a nano, I'm kind of used to that. It kind of locks and then it stays locked, and or it often locks faster. That's my feeling.
I don't know. Like I've been, I've my Zen on for a long time now, and it turned off this morning because I forgot to keep it in the charger. So, and I turned it on, and that like lock instantly again. And usually, like currently my Nano has 6 satellites, and my Zen has 8. My
Normally,
Zen always has
that's
like
normal.
1 or
2
2
more.
more.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
the big antenna probably. And
Yeah, but before it was basically the same all the time because I used the same repeater.
That's true.
So inside, I feel like I enabled the Assist Now feature of the GPS module, which uses like the flash memory on the GPS to keep track of all the satellites, and then it can also use that data to lock faster and see more satellites.
Yeah, to warm start. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to warm start, but also if there's like a new satellite in view, it recognizes it because it already knew it was there, and then it has a better idea of how it's moving or something. That's my understanding from it. But maybe it's a bigger antenna, but I don't know
Maybe
with the
both.
repeater.
Maybe it's both. We don't know.
Both.
It's true.
I feel like it's a lot more stable now with the Assist Now.
Okay. And Michael, you've been working on the GPS emulator, or
Yeah. So I was hoping, to start discussing all the stuff that I've learned about the GPS units with Louis, because
Louis
he's intimately involved in that as well. Just as an aside, GPS units that use I2C instead of serial interface. If you look at the code for the library, the SparkFun library, they even admit in the comments that it's a real hack, because the difference between a serial interface and I2C is bidirectional bus, one bus, bidirectional. And then if you have other devices on that bus, you can start, causing traffic issues. So they have all this kludgy stuff to try to break up packets into little pieces and reassembling them at the other ends to allow other traffic to happen along the I2C bus. That's just an aside. One of the things I wanted to mention was the parameter satellites in view is not really the right name for that parameter. So it starts on the U-block side as what's called NSV. A number of satellites verified, I believe. It's actually the number of satellites used in the computation. And then U-blocks renames that to satellites in view in the PVT packet.
Yeah.
And so I rename it back again in my code. So and again, I've learned a lot about how this interface works by creating an emulator for it. Let me switch cameras. All right, and I have to unmirror that view. Video settings. All right, so that go. Yeah, now I can see the same thing. In a way, I like the Teensy 4.1 with one exception.
Let me switch to a bigger view. Hold on, like a speaker view. Can you
Yeah,
talk?
let me pin that too.
No, good. I got it now.
Let me pin it as well. The biggest drawback for the Teensy 4.1 is that it requires a 5-volt input. And all the other Teensies, you can bypass the voltage regulator and drive it off of 3.3 volts or 3.1 or even 3 volts. So I would think that the next emulator will just operate. So I'll pick different hardware. So the device, this guy right here is the emulator, and this is the receiver. Let me just pick emulator. All right. So, oh, it was timed out. So this is, a debug screen about what received packet I'm getting, what the response packet is, what the acknowledged packet is, and then if there's any unknown packets that are coming that the host is sending me. Let me put this guy in receive mode. So he already, you could see actually on this side that I actually received a bunch of packets. One was initializing, wake him up from sleep mode. One was initializing just to poll the GPS receiver to see if it was alive, and then another one was to get the version of the u-blocks, and that worked correctly, and then setting up the device. So now, so this device actually acts as a logger. So what I did was I made a circular loop through town, and the starting point is the ending point, and recorded that. Not the way you guys recorded. I actually just recorded PVT packets onto the SD card. And now what I can do is I replay those. And so the first PVT message that comes out, I use that as the timestamp. I set the real-time clock to that. That's the same way that the GPS receiver works, is that if the unit is not locked, it takes the first packet in that has valid time and date and sets the real-time clock. And the other thing I do is that once it's a circular buffer. So this particular thing has 563 messages. When it gets to the 564th, it actually starts around to 0. But what the way it works is that I update the time and date information so it continues. So it's like you're in this never-ending loop, and time keeps incrementing for you as well.
Nice.
Wow,
So
impressive what you made.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's very good.
So the nice thing is you could take out the SD card, put it and upload any file that you want that has a log of PVT messages, and it will play it in the same way. And obviously this has to have a mode where there's no keypad, there's no display. It's just a single device with a real-time clock and with an SD card. And you just turn it on, and it acts just like a GPS module that you turned on. You could include packets that have unlocked data, or a mix of unlocked and locked data. Like something out of my basement here. I can you start unlocked and then lock, whatever. Again, it's a little late for the work that you guys have been doing, but sometimes it's nice to have a known GPS source to work with.
I think that's a good thing to have. Also for Stefan, who is now like working on the design for like the UI design, but he only has
Right.
like the core 2, so no modules. So
Right.
using a module like this, like you can get like a TNC, or I don't know if it runs on any other.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
controllers.
It didn't really require this TNC41, and like I said, the
Right.
drawback for the TNC41 is that you can't just connect to the 3.3 volts. If you wanted to replace the module,
Right.
the GPS module on the Zen card, you need another device. And so I'm going to look at what's the simplest piece of hardware that I can get that has, like I said, real-time clock and an SD card slot. and then push out the code for that on GitHub, and so people can just buy the device, program it, and then plug it in place of the GPS unit.
Would the SD card be required if you also can like take the logs and just put them hard coded on the code?
Yeah, that's definitely an option. You could even have, I was trying to think of a way without a keypad, without a display, of giving yourself multiple logs. And one of the ways to do that is each time you turn, let's say you have 5 different versions of log files. Every time you turn it on, you get the next one. You get you can play through a few different log files. Just
that's
an
nice.
idea.
And
Because
the
I
log
think we
files
want to
can also be edited if you want to. So you can on the text editor you can change them, or is it binary code?
It's the log files are hex code. You could convert it and then convert it back again. So that was the one thing. So the one thing I did was actually, let me show you this. And if I stop the auto PVT, it automatically unlocks, which is what the code is supposed to do. This is the code. The receiver side is basically the code from Zen. Let me just reset this device. I'll restart the device. Just to show you logging mode. So you see that it initialized the GPS unit. Let me turn this guy on again. So what I did was I wanted to see, is this process working correctly? So I started logging the emulated data, and then I compared the 2 files, and they were identical. So that's kind of what you want.
Nice.
And then I went past the end of the file to see that the time kept incrementing correctly. So, I'm very confident that we got something here that will work. Now it's just packaging it in a way that you could just build your emulator just by buying a piece of hardware and programming it. And I like your idea. You could even skip the SD card. And
I was just thinking we can
why not?
combine everything together into like a single like emulator for the Zen, like a Zen emulator, and we have like your GPS module, and then we have Louis' his Geiger counter, and then we can also use like if you connect, let's say we put it on like an ESP, and then we connect like the voltage out to the battery in as well. So you can basically like make like emulated Zen that way.
Right.
And we can have, I don't know, like the Zen has this like the pins. We can use something where you can just plug it on like a breadboard together with like the other microcontroller emulator unit, and then just connect like the with some jumper cables. I don't know.
Right.
And you have like a working Zen basically. So something like this would be cool.
So in emulating that interface, one of the things I did was you have commands coming from the host, and you have requests coming from the host. And I've emulated all of that. So anything that comes in that is not something that we support, I negative and not acknowledge that back to the host. But it literally supports everything. It supports you can change the baud rate, and then you can save the configuration. And if you're trying to enable any other packet besides the PVT packet, obviously it sends a negative acknowledge as well. And you can change the message rate. I found some limitations actually on time. The time information that's in the PVT packet, there's no sub-nanosecond, there's no sub-second accuracy there. That nanosecond field is not what you think. It's not literally the remainder of the time. It's actually, if you look up uBlock's PVT packet nanoseconds, it tells you it's basically this offset to this I forget what they call it. They have a very specific second clock built into the U-blocks, and it's an offset to that. And then they actually adjust the real time based upon the satellites orbits, and it was pretty complex. But there are other packets that you could enable at some point to get accurate time information, sub-second accurate time information.
Does the GPS module have a RTC clock, like a real-time clock battery, or is that?
I was thinking for warm start that they must have it must have a clock in there, so that it would know whether or not that a satellite that it saved information for is even available after a certain amount of time. You know, that's it. Actually, it does time out after. They said what you can't do a warm start after like 4 hours.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that's what I read.
Yeah, so there has to be some sort of clock in there to be able to do that.
But there's no way to ask the time on the GPS module for RTC. Like it's basically to support like the Core one, which doesn't have RTC. So you can basically ask the module like what's the time.
Well, the thing is, you get your packet, right, and it gives you a time, and even if you didn't have a real-time clock, you could just use millisecond to create a marker and then just do an offset. I do that on these little devices.
Yeah, I mean like for when you don't have a lock, like if there's no GPS yet.
Right.
That gave a.
Oh, can the GPS give you the time? I could look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very useful. I think so.
Yeah. Let me write that down. And the other thing I realized is that now that I've had this ability to record PVT packets, I could really record, if you really needed the NavSat packet or something like that, you could record multiple types of packets and have each sent every second, back to back. There's nothing really preventing that from happening, from having that ability now that I've got the basic structure in place.
Wow.
All right.
So nothing like reverse engineering stuff to really learn how it works. It's something that I've done, there were a lot of times. So my biggest job in IBM Research was designing computer automation software for advanced technologies. And you would find a tool that a vendor would have or something like that. And you say, well, I like some of these features, and you have to reverse engineer to figure out how they actually work.
Wow. Must be exciting to figure it out.
Yeah. Or the really tricky one was, remember that I showed you the referee watch is
remember.
it wasn't encrypted, but it was encoded. How the Bluetooth communication between that and their app, and I had to reverse engineer that. That was hours of basically comparing strings of binary data to figure out what was going on.
But you could figure out from the binary data what was going on?
Yeah, so what you would do is it was an open source interface. So you would you would program it to, for example, send up the score for each team, right? And then you would change one little thing, and you would see how that affected things on the other end. That's just one small example of all the things you had to figure out. And yeah, and they use tuples. You finally figured out how the message packet worked. So GPS clock query without lock. So that's what I've been up to. It's been fun, actually. It's enjoyable once you finally get it working.
Yeah,
it's impressive what you've done.
And also very useful. Yeah.
Oh, very useful, I think so.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a pity that Louis was not here, that he could hear your reporting. But
Yeah,
he can
well,
watch later, so that's good.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
So-
And give feedback because I'm sure he's been learning a lot of stuff
Oh,
along the
yes,
way
I
as
think
well.
so too.
Yeah.
You should have a separate session together. I think
Yeah.
that's easier. I think.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn in the uBlocks. I went through their library code a lot to learn how they operate, what functions they use, like how the memory management works in there, and as well as some examples that they have on their repository.
You're talking about the uBlocks
uBlocks,
code itself,
SparkFun.
or the
Yeah, the code
SparkFun library.
itself.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
SparkFun.
So obviously, a big part of what I did was figuring out how that worked as well. And it actually, like when Louis said, should we consider using a simpler library? When I had started to, when I first started wrapping my head around the SparkFun library, it's like, do I really want to go into this? Because it's pretty massive. And then when I started looking at these other libraries, I said, yeah, this is actually real. The SparkFun library is actually very well written, very thorough, supports, basically they went out to support every possible packet, every possible message, every possible mode of operation, synchronous and asynchronous and, auto modes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's good.
We have about 5 minutes more for this meeting, just to let you know. So
okay,
or 4.
Yeah.
Now, so that should be
4. It says 7 on my screen.
yeah. I started early.
Oh, right. Okay.
So there are other things we have to talk about. Or you think is important?
Well, I was thinking, what do we need for like the release of the Zen, like the alpha release or beta release? I don't know what
What's
version we
missing?
are on right now. Yeah, like we have a fixed mode. We don't have the settings yet, so like the server. Although I'm not sure if we really need the access point because it's very easy to configure through SD card.
Yeah,
Then we can always connect to Wi-Fi and then like connect to it to local network.
yes, that would be even my preferred way. Just to
Right.
a local network, and then you can set it up. So that it's kind of configure mode, like the bGeigieCast. You switch it to configure mode, then the web server comes up, and you can do all.
I mean, like without the web server access point, so you don't have to connect with a device directly with the Wi-Fi, and then lose your internet connection on the device itself, like on let's say your phone.
Yeah, that's in your case. In my case, I don't use your Wi-Fi connection. I have my lens up and Wi-Fi. Oh, on my receiver on the Zen itself.
No, on the what was I talking about? So on the cast, you have to like go to configure mode, and then it starts up an access point. You can connect to with your Wi-Fi, with your mobile. But on the Zen, we have an SD card which can already configure your Wi-Fi.
That's true.
Settings.
Yes, you're right.
So,
You're right. That's one way true. Yeah, we can do it there too. Yeah.
What I want to say is on the bGeigieCast, I already in fixed mode. You are connected to Wi-Fi, and the config server is always running then. But on the Zen, what I want to do is always connect to the Wi-Fi if it's available. But also, when you go to the config page, you can, the config server is then running and handling the requests. And you can scan the code on your phone, like a QR code, go directly to your local network, like whatever IP it's running on, and then configure it from there without going to your Wi-Fi settings on your phone or laptop.
That's true.
Connecting directly. And then you also have the internet version of the web page, because there's like 2 versions. One has like icons and Like it pulls like some styling and scripts from I don't know, like simple.
Yeah, simple
I
JavaScript.
don't remember. I used like a core something, but we can have more remote like resources, and then we don't have to host everything on the Zen.
It's true.
It saves space.
And I was one way was thinking today when I was testing, the power usage is at the moment quite good. I think. I mean, we don't use too much power, but I think we can optimize it if we want to. And for example, in fixed mode, we can put the screen in a dim version, so it's not so bright. These kind of things. Maybe we can set it up in the config mode. In the config.
I was thinking for the Core 2, we can have like a double tap on the screen itself, like do like a simple handler for that. Then you can turn it off, and then one tap anywhere turns it on again.
Yes, I like.
Or like the brightness, like turning down the brightness to really low, so you can still see it. Like if it's really dark, you can basically read it, but in daylight it's hard to read. And then you can just tap on it, and it turns on.
Yeah, that's a very good way to implement it. I think very simple and clean. Yeah.
Michael, your microphone is muted.
Michael, we don't hear you.
I said you could do one of those display timeouts where you have something on this that just pops around, very slowly on the screen, to let you know that it actually is still alive, but you're in screensaver mode. It's one thing to black out the screen, but you really need something to let people know that it's not off. If you do that, that's.
But in the Zen, you will see that it's the GPS is on and other things are on. And on the Core 2, you can see the power LED on it too.
The power. Oh, right, that's true. The power is it like an OLED display where the power is directly related to the brightness of what's displayed?
No. No, this is a different screen. Like you can turn off the screen. You can turn down the brightness. It's already.
I'm just wondering. Sometimes I don't know how that relates to the percentage of power you're actually saving. Like an OLED screen, a black and white OLED screen. When you turn the pixels off, it's literally using no power.
Yeah, that's true. You would still use some power, but
some.
It's about the backlight, basically.
Yeah. Oh, we're running low on time, so I actually haven't assembled my Zen yet. So I was going to take pictures of the process.
Oh, that would be
but you
great.
actually said you have new boards. Does that have the right footprint for the voltage charger?
Yes, that should have. But Peter has the boards, and I didn't check them yet. So I will see them next week and see if they're exactly what it should be. I mean, according to
I think
Go ahead.
I think I'll go ahead and assemble the one that I've got. I saw some of in the Safecast comments about that he had the 2 pins from units. Like, okay, yeah, don't do that.
I didn't have that problem, but I reused the components that I had, which had already pins on them and cut off and all. So, but I didn't have a new user experience basically.
All right, we're down to that last minute.
Yep.
But it's good, you both tried it, so it's good. More and more people try it by themselves, and they found different ways and better ways. So that will be great.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
Next time I'll try with new components. I think I'll buy like a GPS and some things and reuse the pancake sensor.
On purpose, I didn't give any instructions, so let's see what's gonna happen.